Welcome to another episode of Riff You. In this lesson, I break down a cool guitar riff step by step, showing you exactly how to play it. These lessons are ideal for beginner and intermediate guitar players who want to pick up something quick, fun, and makes you sound awesome. Today I'm going to be showing you how to play the intro to Motley Crue's song Too Young to Fall in Love. This song came out in 1984 on their album Shout at the Devil. The song was written by Nikki Sixx and the guitars were played by Mick Mars. I'm not going to get into the politics of Motley Crue, but I do feel like Mick deserves a lot of respect for being the only guitar player in the band and for writing so many cool guitar parts and being a great performer. I saw them on the Girls, Girls, Girls tour and they were awesome. Whitesnake was the opening act that night at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, and I was really excited to be able to see Vivian Campbell, Adrian Vandenberg, and Mick Mars all on the same night. It was a great show. By the end of the concert, it dawned on me that Mick Mars is the only guitar player on stage and the sound was huge. Do you realize how big your balls have to be to get up there in front of 25,000 plus people in a packed arena and be the only guitar player on stage crushing all your hit songs? I gained a lot of respect from Mick that night. All right, enough jibber jab and let's get down to what we're here to do. Let's learn how to play this guitar riff. Want the tab for this riff and over 200 more? Join my online course, Guitarmy Riff Factory. It's available anytime on your computer, tablet, or phone. You'll level up your riff skills, gain confidence, and impress your friends, all while having a blast. I put the link to this course down in the description if you're interested. All right, so first let's talk about the tuning of this song. Motley Crue generally is almost always tuned down a whole step, so you have to tune your low 6th string down to D, then G, then your 4th string is C, 3rd string F, 2nd string A, and then your 1st string D. So it's not standard tuning, but at least it's not a drop tuning. All the strings are the same relationship. They're all a 4th apart, except for going from the 3rd string to the 2nd string, it's a major 3rd. So you just have to tune all your strings down a whole step for the tuning. Now let's talk about what key we're in. When I say we're in the key of A minor, I'm referring to how the guitar is tuned. I know it wouldn't be A minor, it would be technically G minor because we're tuned down a whole step. But if how you play it on the guitar feels like A minor. So how did I determine that it's A minor? A lot of the song has a lot of open A's, and I take a look at what they're playing. They're going like that's the main riff without all the palm mutes. And then I think, what is Nikki Sixx or Mick Mars? I'm not sure who wrote this because it says Nikki Sixx wrote the song, but I would imagine Mick wrote the guitar parts, but I do not know. If you know, leave a comment down below. So we're going, so as soon as I feel this, I wonder, is the guitar player or whoever wrote it thinking A to C here is, that's an A minor. A minor 3rd there. So if you look, these notes, the 7/7, they're part of A minor pentatonic. So they're going, all that's pentatonic, and then they're going. When I see any guitar player do this, that's a major 3rd interval, G to B. So I'm thinking that might be a G major chord. So if I kind of analyze this, this is all pentatonic. If you're like, well, what is that? I'm just thinking of it in relation to A minor. I'm thinking this is the flat third, this G, a flat 7. And then this C is the flat third. That's your A minor third. Then you could think of it as a G sus4, like they're going. You could think of it like that. Another indication that it is A minor is that the pattern's going. He starts with an A, and then he goes to G and plays the pattern. And then he goes down and hits that F. So I believe what the writer is thinking is an A is the 1 chord, the flat 7 chord is G, and then the flat 6 chord is F. And that's why they're going. That's why those notes are walking down. Another indication that's A minor is that they go. And if you figure out, well, what is this? That is the 5 chord in A, because an A minor scale goes 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5. So if you play this, so this is the 5 chord, 5, 4 chord, flat 6 or minor 6, that F. So they're literally going 5, 4, flat 6, 5. That's how the chords function in the key of A minor. And then they go. And in an A minor scale, this C is flat 3, 2, then flat 7. And then back to the main riff. So all that indicates, all those notes indicate that this is an A minor. So I just wanted to go over that. Sometimes I don't do that, and I thought that's kind of important to know. All right, let's move on to the next section, the timing. All right, so this section I'm going to talk about specifically the timing. Timing is insanely important. It's good to memorize the guitar riff, but what I find is a lot of people, they memorize where to put their fingers, sort of what it sounds like, but they're kind of loose. They're pretty sloppy with the timing because they don't understand how to read rhythm. So this is a section that's going to get pretty technical. So if you don't want to understand rhythm and timing, then I put chapter markers in this video down here, down along there somewhere. So you can go ahead and skip ahead past the timing. But if you are a guitar player that needs to improve your timing and understand rhythm better, then I suggest you watch this section. All right, in the first measure on beat number 4, you're just going to take your finger up around 17-ish. I don't think it matters exactly where you are. You're just going to take your finger and go. You're just going to slide down the neck. And then in measure number 2, what I did is I got this tab off the internet, and there were a lot of rhythms that the sound, how they wrote it was correct, but the timing didn't visually make sense. So they had eighth notes that were bleeding over that were kind of drifting over the beats and stuff, and it was kind of hard to read. So I redid the timing on the tab so that you can see each of the 4 beats in each measure. So what happens in measure number 2, it starts off with a palm muted open A. It goes 1, the rhythm goes 1 and So a lot of times I used to sit there and I would tap everything out. Like I would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E. Like that's the timing of the first measure in terms of 16th notes, like, how you would play it. So beat number 1, it goes 1 and 1 and in any beat you have 4 16th notes, 1 E and these 3 come in on 1. The first you have an 8th note followed by 2 16ths. It goes 1 and beat number 2 is 2 and 2 and beat number 3 is 3 and 3 and then this 5/4 here ties into beat number 4 because the rhythm for beat number 4 goes 4 E but we're not going to play the first one, so it's like you're going E so you're coming in from beat number 2, you're going 1 and 2 E and I should have palm muted that. So if I go ahead and play that, I know this is really technical, but the reality of it is if you really want to play it correctly, if you can't do it by ear, you might have to do it by math. And this is how I used to get the accuracy of my riffs down or whatever I had to play. I would sit there and go. And the whole time, I'm not counting it so much. I've been doing this long enough. I don't need to count it. I can just look at it and do it, but I am understanding what I'm seeing. Eventually, if you look at these kinds of rhythms long enough, you don't have to count everything because that would drive you insane. But you can understand how to play just by looking at it. But in the beginning, you can't do that. So you might have to go 1 and and 2 and 3 and 4 E and all right, that was measure number 2. A lot of these measures, the rhythm is pretty similar because now he's going to, in the beginning of measure 3, he's going to hit that G, and it's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's the exact same rhythm except he just starts with the G. Then in the 4th measure, he's going to go down and start with the F. This is kind of the walk down that's happening. It starts with open A, then G, then F. So in measure 4, you're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and all right, in measure number 5, for whatever reason, I think this part's, I think that's cooler, but I really like this measure 5. I don't know, maybe because it feels, it's very chuggy. It's super chuggy. All right, so rhythmically, I'll play through measure 5 slow, and then I'll talk about how to play it. It's going to go. Now, one thing, if you can't read rhythm, what you can notice is the pattern of two palm mutes, then you play the chord. That's something you can do if, you know, you can't, the timing is actually a little tricky on this. That's why I just play it. I don't necessarily count the timing. So you could be like 2, 2, 2. It's sort of cheating, but as long as you come in on 1 on the downbeat, you can get it like, you know, it'll work. That was probably too fast, so I just played it. All right, so now let's get into the actual timing of it. What I used to do is I used to do beat by beat. It goes 1 E and for the first one, 1 E and. The second one is 2 E and 2 E and. Then the third beat goes 3 E and. And then in beat number 4, you come in on E and instead of going 4 E and. The 4 is being held over from the 7/9, that E power chord. It's like you're going 3 E and 4 E and. So you get this. So if you're not used to tapping your foot while playing, this rhythm is actually, it's a little tricky to properly tap your foot while playing it, because if you look, almost nothing comes in on the downbeat. I mean, you have the opens, but all the chords come in off the beat. All right, so for measures 6, 7, and 8, what we're doing is just repeating measures 2, 3, and 4. So I'm not going to go over those again because we've already gone over those. And in measure number 9, I really like this. It's a slight variation. He goes. I think it's a timing thing. I think it's a measure thing. I'm guessing they wanted to add another measure to make the timing work with the riff in the song. That would be my guess. And the timing of measure 9 goes like this. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and so you get this. And then measure number 10 is the same as measure number 5 that we already went over. That goes. So we're not going to go over the timing again. Timing, I can't stress how insanely important timing is. So when I go to play a riff, eventually I just want to get, like I need to get, you know, what's the chords, what is it supposed to sound like? So I like to get the fingering down, what I'm physically supposed to do. But then you really got to dial in to play it accurately. If you want to play with a band, you have to be able to play pretty tight, or else it's going to sound like a loose mess, especially a riff like this. So that is how the timing goes for this riff. So that's how you play this riff, Too Young to Fall in Love by Motley Crue. If you're not someone that's really into Motley Crue, I don't think it really matters. This is a cool 80s style rock riff that you're going to get a lot of skills from practicing and playing and enjoying. So whether you love it or not, or maybe you're a fan, maybe you're not. This is a riff that's going to increase your skills if you're able to play it correctly. Hey, thanks for jamming with me. I hope you had a good time learning this riff. If you're digging the lessons, make sure to subscribe and tap that notification bell so that you're always in the loop. Have a riff idea you can't shake? Drop it in the comments. I'm always looking for new riffs to do. I will catch you in the next one.